I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, hog, dog. You name it.
You got to do that. Welcome to a special edition of As We Walk Podcast. Happy holidays.
Yay!
So this is a special edition that we are doing of the As We Walk Podcast, and we're going to be getting into some stuff today. And we have, by special demand, our special guest back, Dr. John Harris.
Let's go.
Glad to be back with you guys. Looking forward to it.
All right. And of course, I have my co-host,
Rayshawn Pratt. What's up, everybody?
All right, and as everybody is getting ready to grub down on Thanksgiving food.
That bean, green, potato, tomato, lamb, ram, hog, dog. Listen, I said ram. If you eating ram, okay, it's all right. You name it. Oh, not dogs. Not dog. I don't know why I said dogs. Forgive me.
Oh, my.
Want to be sensitive to your culture, though. If that's what y'all do,
okay,
you name it.
It's
Okay,
being inclusive.
All right, yes, okay, yes.
Right.
So we're gearing up for Thanksgiving. Everybody's getting ready to throw all the carb counting down the drain, get ready to eat and feast. And we know that this time is a good time for many people. It's joyous. We're getting ready to go into the as we're going into the holiday season. But for some people, we do understand that this also, presents a difficult time.
Mm-hmm.
That they don't just think about the Christmas music and the lights and the getting ready to carve a turkey. But for many people, this is a depressing time. And it could be difficult and a challenge for people to get through the next few months.
Yeah.
So in the spirit of the holidays, we wanted to just do this special edition where we talk about, the holiday season and Thanksgiving. And just, Dr. John Harris, you have seen a lot. I mean, you're a man that served and you've been over into Afghanistan, into Iraq. You've served here in America. And so, just asking you, what advice would you give to someone? Because I you something here in America.
He said here in America.
Yeah. Okay.
I was trying hard. That's why I was looking down.
No, and I'm laughing because I was getting ready to say the Americas. Okay, so I'm about to go New World on them. Okay. All right. Let me pull that back. Thank God we got a great producer and editor. Dr. John Harris, so what advice would you give people, in church or just in general, just on the job, as believers, what advice would you give them going through the holiday season?
Yeah, you mean specifically those who are grieving and
are those who are maybe not be grieving, but for them to become sensitive to those who may.
Yeah, one of the things that I'll say is I was a hospital chaplain for a while, and anybody who's worked in the hospital for a long period of time, whether it be doctors, nursing staff, or others, can tell you that there's an increase in deaths in the hospitals during the holiday times.
Yeah.
And so it's a very, very, one of the things that characterizes holidays is emotions.
Yeah.
Sentimentality.
Yeah.
For some people, this could be their first Thanksgiving without somebody literally who was at the table last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not there this year.
Yeah.
Or it could just be a reminder, some Thanksgiving ritual or something like that is really attached to somebody else, and it's just a reminder. So there's oftentimes these mixed emotions. And so some of the, my thoughts on that are, think about ways to process those emotions in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a negative. Right, the fact that you are still mourning or grieving Thanksgiving, the passing of a loved one, is not bad.
Yeah,
that person meant something to you,
correct,
and it had a significant influence on your life. You are supposed to miss them. The problem would be if they're gone, you're like, they ain't here. It is what it is. No, they're not here, and we miss them, and it's okay. So sing one of their favorite songs, or go around the table and share a favorite memory of somebody, or maybe if it's not something shared by everyone at the table, and people say, "Oh, I'm go around and say what you're thankful for." Right. Well, I'm thankful for my memory of so and so. Right. So your grief is not something you have to hide
Yeah.
during the holidays. You can be open about it. You don't have to even suppress it personally. I should be beyond this by now. It's been 10 years.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
This was your mom, your dad.
Yeah,
This was your grandma. You know, and they're always going to be a part of you.
Yeah.
Always going to be a part of you. So I would say be honest with yourself about your grief. Find some people that you can share it with.
Yeah.
And think about some way to highlight a special memory, some kind of, like I said, a song or ritual, or do something this year that they would always do, or go to a place that you would always visit with them, and do something to intentionally remember them.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by processing the grief in a healthy way.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to suppress it and saying, oh, we're supposed to be happy, but I feel sad. No, it's okay. How did they make you happy?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And that also makes me think too that during the holidays there's also this time of, some people may have some excitement, but even not just with grief alone, but also just the idea of families now, people who you may not have really hung around all year, now you're starting to get back together. And that idea of, for some people it may look like flying back in town, getting back with family members, and the tensions of maybe some issues that have not been dealt with. And as you have been talking about, a phenomenal, advocate for emotional intelligence and conflict resolution, what advice would you give to someone who is maybe getting ready to fly back home or take a drive, and they're thinking about that conversation with their child, or, that conversation that may need to be had with the parent, or that auntie, that uncle, that cousin, that relative, that friend, where there may have been some tension, but now that they're about to be in proximity with each other, and that idea may be stressing them, what advice would you give?
Yeah. I think to think through what are your boundaries going to be.
Yeah.
What will you not tolerate as far as things being said or things being done? And if there's a particular pattern of behavior that you can anticipate, then to think through what your response is going to be, is to kind of minimize the being triggered on the spot, and then reacting out of that.
Mm-hmm.
But to kind of, in some ways, have a plan. Have some kind of even a more thought out script of what you're going to say.
Yeah.
So, for example, you going to visit some, typically at family gatherings, you have some people who have a different view of how you should raise your kids.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, if you're going to walk into that situation, what are you going to say when someone wants to tell you about how to parent how to raise your kids?
Yeah.
What are you going to say to that person? If they always do it, what are you going to say? So think about how maybe it didn't go well the last time, or maybe you even get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Say, hey, listen, in the past, we've had some things. I know you've made some comments to my kids. Let's try not to do that this year.
Yeah.
Right. I want to enjoy our time together. That doesn't really go well. I understand you have you're caring about the upbringing of my kids, but I'm really in charge of that, and we disagree. So let's just not do that this time.
Yeah.
Let's just enjoy Thanksgiving dinner. If you see something my kid does that you don't like, come talk to me. Don't talk to my kid.
Yeah.
So you can kind of even get ahead of it,
right?
Whether that's a phone call or whether it's on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just thinking through what you can anticipate, and if you want to respond better and different than you have in the past, then that needs to be premeditated.
Yeah.
Because typically on the spot, it's not going well, and that's how Thanksgiving dinners get ruined.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People end up leaving, getting mad, and all that kind of stuff. And I think that could still happen, but I think you can minimize that by thinking through who are the challenging personalities, what's been the history, and what do you want to do different this time?
Yeah.
And plan it and kind of think through what you want to say. And maybe even give somebody a call.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I hear you're going to be at the house this year.
Yeah.
Listen, I know we don't always get along. Let's just try to keep our distance or our space this year.
Yeah.
Let's just have a good time. You can have those kind of conversations
Like that.
instead of having in your mind like, oh, I wish they would say something.
Yeah.
Right? You come locked
Waiting
and
for it.
loaded, right? Then you go on fire.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
But instead of saying, you know what, let me try not to shoot this at this. There's another way to do it.
Yeah.
And it might be awkward, but I'd rather that be awkward in a private conversation
Yeah.
than it be awkward publicly. And now we got a whole. Now I'm
Ruin
like,
the whole
kids,
shebang.
pack your bags. Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's
Now
go.
we're doing that again.
Right.
12
Yeah.
in the chamber.
Yeah. Right, exactly. You know, some people they're getting it together and they already have that idea of what's gonna happen. They already played the scenario out in their head that's gonna lead them back to the airport or lead them back to driving back home. You know, they waiting for as soon as they do this is gonna make me just unleash.
Yeah.
And you know, like I love what you're saying, like getting ahead of it. Because, you know, in many situations, it is kind of, some people can be very predictable, but we also ourselves can be very predictable in our responses. So I do like that idea. And also, the great thing about times like the holidays that we're in is also just the multiple generations getting together.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's one thing, as we've talked about before, like in the church and things that's one thing that I think that the holidays kind of remind us of, and we see those old traditions being passed down to the new traditions, and maybe even some newer traditions that, you know, the younger generation may not want to continue, or they want to kind of just build on themselves. And so I think that this is a good time for those generations to come together and, you know, preserve the good, and then also be able to give that newer generation the opportunity to start their own tradition.
Yeah.
You know,
whether
it's a meal, or rather they do something different, or maybe we always go to this particular house for Thanksgiving, but hey, how about we take a trip over here?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think, you know, the generational differences aren't meant to, just like any kind of differences.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be there to divide us, but they should be there to help us see and value the differences and see how we can benefit from those differences and complement those differences.
Yeah.
So sure, one generation might have these traditions, a generation might not either understand those or want to do something different. Why do you have that tradition? Like there's a principle behind every tradition.
Yeah.
And so there are principles that can be passed down that a tradition can either change or be adapted to or be added to.
Yeah.
And instead of it just being, this is my way versus your way, now we got problems.
Yeah.
But I think holiday meals, gatherings are times where relational miracles can take place, where it's not just anticipating like a conflict or something, but you can also anticipate sometimes a reconciliation if it's done well. And so, but whether it's passing on a tradition or wisdom, I think these gatherings have the potential to really tighten the generational connections and what's passed on from one to the other and what's learned from one to the other. I mean, going both ways.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so we've seen that depicted in movies sometimes where you have a older person that's learning from a younger person, or a younger person sitting at the feet of the or the older person. Yeah. And it's going both ways. But I think there has to be this mutual respect and honor
absolutely
of all the generations, not just because of generations, but just because they're people,
right?
And because they're family, and because you know, that's who God has kind of brought together in your circle.
Yeah.
And so as best as possible, we can work out these relationships. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if not, then there's a healthy way we can communicate that as well.
Dr. John, I want to unpack that for a little bit, talking about generations, you know, within family, within the church, within the world. You know, we see a lot of, there is a disconnect, right, from one generation to the next. And because there's a disconnect, a lot of times we as people, we naturally gravitate towards hate, or, you know, that's a strong word. We talk about things that we don't understand. So there is a disconnect. And so because, you know, I may, you know, I'm 32 now. My oldest is 15. Even between us, there's a disconnect. You know, things that we were doing at 15, you know, they're doing stuff totally different. Mm-hmm. And so I want to remain open and learn. But I see it all the time, especially from the older generation. They talk about, you know, the young people a lot because they don't understand. In what ways can we bridge the gap between generations, you know, in family, in the church, in the world, period? You know, the older folks talk about the young people. Look at y'all don't know nothing. And because now the young people are feeling like, you know, you coming for me, they talk about the old people. You ain't got nothing to teach me, you know, old man. I ain't got it, you know. And so there's a missed opportunity, you know, to impart wisdom and to also learn from one another, you know. So what ways can we bridge the gap between generations?
I think one thing that is often overlooked in these kind of conversations is how people are responding to their sense of fear. One of the things that an older generation can have a fear of the next generation forgetting them, not valuing what was because they're going after something that's new.
Yeah. Wow.
So they see the new thing as a threat to the old thing.
Wow.
Like if you want to do something new, well, what's wrong with?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm not saying nothing's wrong with it, but it just might not fit me, or I just have another idea. It's like this. So sometimes a younger generation, their ideas, their values and things are perceived as a threat to the values of the older generation. So the older generation, anytime you feel threatened, you come out swinging, come out fighting. What that looks like is the criticism and the ridicule and things like that. And the tragedy is that if you're going to try to, whether it's one generation to the next or one person to the next, you don't change a person through criticism and ridicule. Like that doesn't win them over. Right? We even see that from a Christian perspective. People trying to criticize the sinner as if that's going to make them accept the gospel.
Right.
Like, really, God don't like this, God don't, well then why do I want God? Right? Based off your presentation of him. So I think oftentimes there is this fear behind some of these concerns, and it leads to disrespectful behavior, dishonoring. And so if I am, and the irony is that if you're the older one and you're supposed to know better, and this is how you're acting, then there's nothing that you're offering that I want.
Wow.
Because what you're doing, everything you're saying and doing is pushing me away. Right? So I think if we shift from the fear and go, okay, it's okay if people want to do something different, do something new, even if I don't like it, I've got to be aware. What do I feel like is being lost by their new behavior? If I can identify that, then I can be real with it. Am I really losing that? I feel like I am, but am I really losing that? Maybe not. Because the truth be told, at one point, I was the younger generation, and the one beyond me was saying the same things to me that I'm saying to them. And so the issue of love and learning, when we are loving people, another person, another generation, we can learn from them and we can be curious. We start to ask more questions instead of offering the condemnation for what's different. What's so important to you about all those tattoos? Right? Not like you shouldn't be getting that. No.
Good.
What's appealing to you about those tattoos? Why is it that you like to wear your pants where you're wearing them? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. You're sagging with a belt. Like I don't
Right.
I don't know. Help me understand why it's important and why that's such a big thing. And so it's seeking the understanding, not like pull your pants up. Like that's not gonna. So I think if we're looking at how to bridge, we got to think about what works in connecting in relationships. It's honor, it's respect, it's curiosity, it's compassion. And then when I connect with you and I talk to you, and maybe I can speak life to you. Maybe I disagree with the whole pants thing, right? And but if I'm aware that that's reflecting your sense of self, then the issue is not you pulling up your pants; it's your sense of self. So let's sit down and talk. And many times you want to come with your pants down, come with your pants down. I'm going to build up self. And if I build up self by telling, but based on my wisdom, right? Generation, if I see something in you, I see an engineer, I see a business person, I see where you want to be. Well, you can do that. You can do that. Guess what? One day you're going to come in them pants and going to be there. I don't have to talk about the pants. All that stuff is a symptom of some things. If I see the person first, I want to learn about you. I want to understand you. I want to lean in with empathy, lean in with compassion and understanding. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to learn from me as an older generation, I want you to lean in with curiosity and listening ear and understanding. So I got to model that first.
Absolutely.
Make that connection.
Yeah.
That's what bridges the gap.
Yeah.
Now we have a conversation where I can understand where you're coming from, and now we have a relationship where I can speak into you and being more influential instead of just like pull your pants up. Like that don't make no sense.
Right. Absolutely. And it also makes me think about just the church, how the church has struggled, especially as we have come out of the pandemic, people, we were going to the buildings in person, and then we started going to the online services. And, then there was the older generations before, a decade prior, Facebook and all these different social media platforms was like, oh, there was, the church don't need to be on that. We don't need to utilize that. But then we got into the pandemic, and it was like, oh, we want to, if we want to have services, we need to utilize these platforms.
Absolutely.
And you have been like a pioneer in online church. So can you just talk a little bit about that, the need for it, and what really, got you going in that arena?
Right.
Yeah. Jesus said, go into all the world. And now we're able to do that in digital spaces. Mm-hmm. And when he said, go into all the world, right, in Matthew and Mark, or even in Acts, you'll be my witnesses, right? And he mentioned these different places. You'll be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and the uttermost parts of the world. Now, his idea here isn't about, I just want you to go throughout all the different geographies.
Yeah.
The issue is the message of the gospel going to the people in those places is going to the people. Yeah. Wherever people are, the gospel needs to be. Yeah. And so people are in these digital spaces, so the gospel needs to be there. Yeah. And based on how the digital world has evolved since it first started, people are genuinely connecting online, developing community online, and that a community of believers is the church. Mm-hmm. And so it can be in person or it can be online. Now, can I give you a hug online? No, but that's not what makes us community. Yeah. Can I support you online, pray for you online, encourage you online, be there for you online? Yeah, that's what makes community. I was asked to speak at a workshop in Florida at the Exponential Conference on digital evangelism and digital community. And one of the things I wanted to address in this room full of probably 50 pastors from all across the country, wow, is, can we have community online, right? Because that's a big con that some people have, and they're the opposition. You can't develop real community online. Yeah. And so I asked them, this workshop full of all these pastors, I said, describe to me what makes community. Mm-hmm. What makes community? So hands went up all over the room. Connection and support and feeling loved and feeling belonging and this. I said, okay, how come none of you said in person? Wow. I said, everything that you just said, all across the room, can happen online. Yeah. Wow. Right? I don't have to show up at your kid's baseball game to be community. Yeah. It's great if I can. Yeah. But I don't have to be there to be community. So there are so many relational dynamics that can be created online and strengthened online. Mm-hmm. And because the church is the relationship of believers with each other, it can happen online. So you literally can have digital church. Now, promoting digital church, we were talking about this earlier about the generational thing, right? If you promote digital church, they see it as a threat to in-person church. Yeah. Okay. And again, there's this idea of when you're trying to get people in the building, then anything that could keep people away from the building, you're going to see as a threat. Yeah. But the goal of church is not to get people into a building. Mm-hmm. It's to get people connected. Yeah. Whether it's in the building or online. Mm-hmm. So digital church is just as legitimate as personal church. Mm-hmm. Are there pros and cons? Yeah. A pro of being in person is the hugs, the high fives. I can lay my hands on you and pray, and I can feel, you can feel that, right? The pro of digital church is you can be in an area where there aren't many Christians where you're at. Yeah. You don't have community, but we can connect online. Yeah. Right? Now we are community. Yeah. That's a pro. I can connect with people from all over the world through digital. That's a pro. Yeah. And so neither the digital expression of church or the in-person expression of church has everything.
Yeah.
Because there are people right now who can tell you that they can sit in church for years and still not be in community.
Absolutely.
So in person by itself isn't the goal.
Yeah.
One, isn't the answer. One person in our digital only expression of church, he said, I found in this digital expression what I was looking for in person.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's not something, if people want to learn about it, I'm open to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If people want to argue about it, I'm not. I don't need to argue about it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And wrote a book on it.
Right.
You know?
There you go.
And in the book is all these kind of other testimonies about what's been happening online.
Yeah.
And so people are being healed online, saved online, followed up with online.
Yeah.
The kingdom is being advanced online, whether it be TikTok, Facebook, Discord, Twitch, all kind of platform. WhatsApp. There are WhatsApp churches.
Yeah.
Wow.
There are WhatsApp churches.
Yeah. Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I think one thing that keeps me open is really realizing God's sovereignty.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can do whatever he wants. He can move however he wants. And I think a lot of times we like to say that, but we don't actually believe it in here. It goes from having the head knowledge to the heart knowledge.
Yeah.
If we actually believe in our heart, Lord, you are sovereign. Like you reign, you are above all. You can do whatever you want. Then we will be open to the different avenues that God can use. He gave man the wisdom and the insights to create faster internet and stuff. So now people in remote areas of the world can be plugged in, to the World Wide Web, and somebody in the jungles of South America, can be plugged into North America or to Finland or whatever, and he can use that now to further the gospel.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times we like to box God, and you can only move like this because this is what I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what I know, and this is all I've seen. So God, you can only move like this.
Yeah.
And my rebuttal to that would be, do you believe in his sovereignty?
Right.
Do you believe that he can do whatever he wants to do? If your answer is yes, let's try to take our blinders off and open up our eyes to all that God can do. Let's look at it. Just further proves how amazing and how grand he is to be able to take everything. He can. There's nothing that gets dumped out with God. He uses it. There's nothing wasted. He uses it all.
Yeah.
And just to hear about like a WhatsApp church, I remember. I think you shared the testimony too of there being churches started on the Meta platform,
in the metaverse.
Like, folks plug in and there's actual church, through that. Like, of course, there's going to be some pushback because it's different from what people have known, and anything different, change is hard for people, right?
Yeah.
But to be able to take my blinders off or to take my limiters off and to look at like, God, look at how you're moving.
Yeah.
And to some people, that's a big help for them to be plugged in because I physically can't make it in to a local ministry, or I'm dealing with the sickness that is causing me to isolate myself, but I don't feel isolated now because I can plug in and be a part of a community.
Yeah.
Look at God.
Yeah. Yeah.
God eliminating all obstacles. You know what I'm saying? To take care of his children.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
And beyond just the metaverse platform, it's the metaverse population. And so with those church plants in the metaverse, most of them are reporting that 60 to 70% of the attendees of their churches are atheists.
Wow.
Like that's the point of the metaverse church. It ain't just hang out, but because that's where they, and not only that, but the isolated people, the people who we joke about being in their basement and all that kind of stuff, they're isolated. That's why they're in the metaverse. Because they can create a whole nother avatar. So some people say, well, that's not even a real person. It's a fake. They're putting on, they don't even really look like that. Well, they're hiding behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But guess what? You can hide behind that while you sit there and hear the gospel.
Yeah.
And as I develop a relationship with you, will end up you not hiding behind that and I get to know the real you.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of stuff that's happening. Even the Apostle Paul, Peter, God had to change his view. Peter was like, God's not doing nothing with Gentiles.
Yeah.
Right? And then he had the whole vision, all kind of. So what God did with Peter on that rooftop and saying, nothing I've made is unclean, right? All these hoofed animals, and that helped shift Peter's perspective then, and that had to happen because God had already sent folks from Cornelius' house to come and get Peter.
Yeah.
So God shifts Peter's perspective about what is possible with God.
Yeah.
And then there's a knock on the door. Peter goes to Cornelius' house and preaches, and the Holy Spirit comes. Basically, it's a Gentile Pentecost.
Yeah.
And Peter goes back to Jerusalem saying, hey, guys, the Gentiles got it just like we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So God was expanding even Peter's box. It's the same thing. So whether people go into the metaverse or digital, it's the same thing. But if your paradigm is in person, I will protect and defend the in-person expression of church as the only in-person, as the only thing, then you're going to hate on digital, you're going to hate on metaverse. But the reality is the Great Commission is to go where the people are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there are people online, then we go.
Yeah.
If there are people in the metaverse, then we go.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by, if you put the mission first, it redefines all this.
Yeah.
If you put the building first, you're going to have a problem with everything else God's doing. It's just,
And I think that we also, sometimes we forget in the church that we have a responsibility to minister to everyone.
Absolutely.
It's like there are people that we have to understand that have different dynamics. You have people, I know people that travel a lot to where they cannot be at church on Sunday. Their job is literally traveling all over, and so they just can't be there. So what do we say to those people? Well, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to have no community because your job is traveling,
Right, yeah.
But maybe they can tune in to online church and have that community, have that support, while they're at the hotel or wherever they have, whenever they have that time. What about those people that's in the hospital? What about those people who may be able to plug in even in the jails or in the prisons? What about those individuals who are in transition? So hearts like his. I transitioned from one church that I was at, and while I was transitioning out of that church, I didn't have, me and my family, we didn't have a church. We didn't have a church that we had, committed to at that time. So we hadn't joined the church. So Hearts Like His was it was huge for us. It was a great help. My wife enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. We were able to really to tune in, listening to your teachings, listening to other believers that's in the community. It wasn't just you; it was other people. It was other people there, and so that was a great tool that I felt still connected to the body of Christ.
Yeah.
Though I wasn't in a physical body, and at that time there wasn't people actually even having churches in a physical church anymore because all the churches were shut down due to COVID. So, I believe again that this is something that we have to think about, that there's people have different circumstances and situations, and we need to be able to minister to all type of people. And so we just cannot just cater to the people who we feel like are meeting that mode of what we like to do. But we have to look at how do we reach those other people as well who may need help, those people who may be in transition, those people who may be traveling, those people who may be, a little weary about going into a building, but they will sit on, they will go online and hear and talk and be able to play out. You're reaching people, again, who have left the church. How many people have a heart to reach those kind of people? Because most of the time when people leave church, we demonize them right away. They were the branch that the Lord cut off. The Lord was doing some pruning, and He pruned them off.
They was with us, and then they went out from among us, and they was never actually with us.
Right.
And these people are wounded. They are hurt. These people they want to be connected. They're looking for community. They're looking for fellowship. But what do we have to offer them?
Yeah, and a lot of people who've left. That's one of the things that they say is that when they left, they were either it appeared that they were not missed, that no one asked where you've been or whatever, or they were really engaged in serving, and then But I think when we think about the church, if we just get back to mission first, everything else falls into place. One person said, I can't remember who it was, I think his last name was Briscoe, I want to say Brad Briscoe. He said, some people think that the church has a mission, like God's church has a mission, right? When the truth is God's mission has a church. This whole thing is missional.
Yeah.
God's little word, he gave his son, right? As a father sent me, so I'm sending you.
Yeah.
Go, 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 go. Every gospel has a go, go, go. It's all mission, mission, mission. And the church is made up of those people who believe the gospel and are on mission together.
Yeah.
Right? We're worshiping God together. We're in community together. We're on mission together. But if we isolate mission and we just do community and worship, that's a problem. Yeah. But here's where the APES principle comes into play. Because if the APES doesn't know how to play together, I mean, APES, apostles, prophets, evangelists, shepherds, and teachers, if they don't know how to play together, then the shepherds who focus on caring for what's in the room are going to always criticize the apostolic that's going to new territory. Yeah. So going to new ground is very missional. Yeah. Right? You have 12 apostles. Yeah. Not 12 shepherds. Yeah. Apostles. Yeah. The only one that we know that really kind of settled down was James, pastor of the church in Jerusalem. Yeah. Everyone, they just left. Yeah. They left. And so the apostolic is going into new territories, reaching new people. Yeah. Right? In the metaverse, that's apostolic. Yeah. On digital, that's apostolic. Yeah. But the shepherds are criticizing the apostolic, and that's the problem.
You don't know how to play together.
Right?
Wow.
And the apostolic is going to say, y'all sitting in one spot. You need to be, Jesus said go. Right? It's just two letters. How come we don't understand that? He said go. Because the shepherds are called to nurture, care in that one spot. Yeah. The shepherds don't do all that other stuff. Right. The apostolic does that. Yeah. The prophetic, the evangelist does that. Yeah. And so when they're doing that, me starting online, that's apostolic. Yeah. Right? Me going after these people, that's apostolic. We're going to new territory, going to new people groups. All that's apostolic. That's what's got to. That's what I mean. When we bring that back, then and we let the apostolic do the apostolic, then just do it. Yeah. Right. Now, when I say apostolic, I'm not talking about long dresses and around. I'm talking literally the function of taking the gospel to new places. Yeah. Right. And so when the apostolic is apostolicking, then the shepherds are like, you shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. The shepherds are going to always complain about the methods apostles use. The apostolic can complain about the methods the teachers use. The teachers can complain about the methods even because y'all, it's different. Yeah.
It's different.
It's supposed to be different.
Yes.
Yeah. You're not supposed to have the same passion I have. Right. You're not supposed to have the same gift I have. Yeah. And with my gift comes a certain vision for something that you're not expected to see. Right. Yeah. But I tell you what, if the apostolic goes and into new territory and plants the gospel, I try to plant a church, plant the gospel, creates disciples, guess what? The apostolic needs a shepherd to take care of them because the apostolic is going to keep on going to the next one. Yeah. What happened when they said, hey, the widows and are not being fairly treated with the distribution of food, right? The apostles, can you come and take care of this? No, we're apostles. Yeah.
Must we leave the word of God to serve tables?
That's it. We're going to designate some people, right? Let's pick some people. They'll take care of that, right? Those are the ministries, they'll stay here. We must continue preaching of the word and the prayer. What you see there is a people trying to pull the apostolic into another role. And the apostolic says, no, there's a boundary here. We're apostolic. We're going to keep doing this, but this is a legitimate need, so we'll provide for this. This is more shepherd teaching, whatever kind of stuff, right? This is an in-place ministry. That needs shepherding. They don't need an evangelist. They need shepherding to care for people. That's what needs to happen today. And when we restore the legitimacy of all five of them, we also need to restore the respect of all five of them. Yeah. I don't need to criticize you. Like when the disciples saying, Jesus, we saw this dude casting out demons. He ain't with us, so we told him to stop. Yeah. They're the ones that got rebuked. Yeah. Why are you telling him to stop? Right. He's casting out demons in my name, and you told him to stop? Yeah. Yeah. What you not picking up on here? Yeah. Right? Fortunately, the guy felt empowered enough to be advancing the ministry of Jesus. Yeah. Don't stop. If they're for us, they're not against us, right? Yeah. And so it's the same thing. If I'm tearing the gospel online and doing digital, what you complaining about? Yeah. We're on the same, right? If you're
supposed to be on the same team.
Yeah. If you're not sharing the gospel in other new places, but the people under you are maturing and they're growing in love, why would I criticize you from not taking the gospel all the other places? Yeah. No, you're a shepherd.
Yeah.
I can honor that and see that. And right. So that's part of where I think needs to happen there.
I think that's beautiful. Yeah. And I think just thinking about the not the possibility, because I know it's happening now, but just thinking about the fruitfulness of everybody working together. Mm-hmm. Like you think about somebody going out and planting the gospel, and maybe this is online. Think about somebody who gets connected online and, you know, they've dealt with, you know, hurt within the building, and, you know, from that hurt, they have, you know, social anxiety. This person is getting poured to online, and, you know, after a year or so, now they're like, I'm ready to get connected, you know, within a local body. Mm-hmm. And because we work together and have not burnt bridges, you know, somebody can direct you to a shepherd of a local body. Hey, yep. I know this person will take care of you. You know what I'm saying? And so now this person is coming out of, you know, hurt and anxiety and everything and getting connected. That only happens if we work together.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's how it's supposed to be, right? Yeah. Like that's beautiful to even think about, you know? Still talking about the holidays. I wanted to, you know, see what you would say, you know, to encourage parents to talking about Thanksgiving. We know that the holidays can be hard on parents who are working in today's climate. We know that today's climate is pretty hard as far as, you know, we're working longer and harder and not making, you know, as much. And so what is taught to us is, you know, Thanksgiving, we got to have a big spread and we got to have, you know, big parties and stuff. But what would you say to the parents who are working hard, or the single mother, or the single dad, yeah, you know, or that husband or wife who has lost their spouse, and now I've lost half of my income, and you know, because I have my kids and they're expecting, you know, what they're taught to be, you know, had is a big spread, but I can't provide that. And so now I feel pressure or inadequacies as a parent, but I'm working as hard as I can.
Yeah.
I know I'm getting up, I'm going to work, I'm coming back home, I'm cooking the food that we do have, I'm going to, you know, practices and I'm taking here, but I really can't provide this big old spread. How would you encourage that parent?
You know, this Thanksgiving, we're going to go serve the homeless.
Wow.
You can provide an experience. I don't know of any kid that goes from serving the homeless to come home and go, where's our food at?
Yeah.
It's what Thanksgiving is really all about. It's the same dynamic of the same demographic we're talking about. Single mom, single dad, whatever. It's Christmas. You're expecting the whole tree full of gifts under the tree. We might not be able to do gifts all under the tree. What can we do?
Wow.
We can serve. We can give, because that's serving others is what Christmas is more about. That God gave Jesus to us. Giving gifts is what Christmas is all about. Christmas is not about receiving gifts. We turn that into something else. Yeah. It's about giving them, right? So let's look around our house. Let's look at what are some toys that you don't use anymore. All right, let's package those. We're gonna go to the Goodwill. We're gonna give on Christmas. We're gonna give. We're gonna serve dinner on Thanksgiving, because guess what's gonna happen at that Thanksgiving dinner that you go to serve at the mission, right? There's gonna be some leftovers you can take home.
Yeah.
Huh? 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah, come on.
Right. And now, not everyone's gonna go to a local mission and serve. So what are some other options? I think whether it be Thanksgiving, Christmas, or anything else, we got to already start discipling our kids to move from self-centeredness and not wait till the holiday.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge.
Right? Not wait till the holiday. The other day, my kids, you know, I saw some Barbie or something on the TV. And, we want a Barbie. Can we get a brand new Barbie? Absolutely. Which toys do you want to give away? What do you mean? Well, you got a bunch of things. We're not just going, let's look at your room. We got all these toys. You got 3 girls. They all got their own stuff, right?
Yeah.
You got a bunch of toys here. Some of them you don't use. Yeah. I mean, some of these toys, there's other kids that would love to have these toys.
Yeah.
So before we start trying to add more toys, let's take some time. And they did. All of them had bags. Well, we don't use these. We don't use these. We don't use these. Okay, great. So you gave away, 5, 10 toys. I'll replace that with a Barbie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's the idea of one, let's not just think just you.
Yeah.
Right? And not just think what I can get.
Yeah.
Let's think of other kids. Let's think what we can give.
Yeah.
We're not just hoarding stuff. Let's go, okay, you know what? You're right. I can give these kids, this to other kids and over.
Beautiful.
And one of the things that was my wife's idea, she was like, well, let's not just drop them all off at like whatever, but she wanted to take pictures of them and put them on a marketplace, right? And so she can know, like, the parents will come to get them, and then tell the parents, when you have your toy with your kids, can you text me back a picture?
Yeah.
So my kids see the smile on your kid's face with their toy, right? Tying the benevolence of it, the generosity of it.
That's beautiful.
And that's what I mean.
That's
beautiful. So now, if you wait till Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving Eve to try to talk about generosity, you might miss some opportunities.
Yeah.
So you know what's coming.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a discipleship thing. Because kids can obviously be selfish, but they can always be very generous too.
Yeah.
Right.
Very generous.
Yeah.
And so, can I have? Sure. What do you want to give?
Yeah.
What do you want to give? Look around this room, because you're trying to convince me that you need something.
Yeah.
You try to convince. It's a weak argument right now.
I need
It's a weak argument right now. You don't need it. You might
Right.
want it, which is okay, but you don't need it.
Right.
Let's look at what. So don't just think of you. Let's think of other kids too. So it's built into the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I like that. And I love what you said, because I think that it does become problematic for us that, in our society, that usually is during the holidays that we start to think about, oh, maybe we should be feeding people. Maybe we should be clothing people. And let's get the coat drive and let's do the blanket drive. But people are hungry year round. And so then, this year, this time of year is good because people are starting to think outside of themselves, but we should be doing that year round.
Mm-hmm.
We should be thinking about how can we bring restoration to our families, in April, instead of waiting for, Thanksgiving to give somebody an apology that we needed to give them back in April. And so that is, the dynamics of this time of year is really good, but I really like what you're saying. Is there things that you would encourage the church to be doing during the holiday season?
Yeah. During the holiday season, I would encourage churches to pay attention to the needs around them.
Yeah.
Because the holiday is a date on the calendar that comes and goes.
Yeah.
The needs are not.
Right.
Yeah.
And so during those holidays, the community oftentimes that's needing support in those areas, those things really come to the surface.
Yeah.
So pay attention to those particular needs and see which ones you can adopt long term.
Yeah.
Because like I said, people are hungry. Thanksgiving dinners is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how long does your dinner last?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christmas dinners are great.
Yeah.
But how long does your dinner last?
Yeah.
What kind of support do those people? So use these events to establish, to be catalysts for long-term relationships.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And even if you're not adopting a whole school, like one time we did the church adopted school, even if not adopting a whole school, are there particular families that you can connect with? Because here's where churches blow it. Here's where churches blow it. Have all these people come, right, to their event, Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, and their only win is we got service on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got service on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to come to service on Sunday. I'm like, right? Instead of doing that, sit at the table and learn about these people.
Yeah.
What are their needs? How can we connect you? Right? Or you need a ride to your appointments. Okay, we can get you a ride. So now beyond the Thanksgiving dinner, beyond the Christmas drive or whatever, now there's a relationship. Now we're helping you get to your appointment. We're helping you with babysitting. We're helping you or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's long-term relationships instead of saying, here are our flyers for Sunday.
Yeah.
That's usually the big thing, right? If we have a big event, all these people, we want to invite them to church.
Yeah.
No. Stop. Stop. Because people know a gig. And the thing about it is, here's what's weird. People know it's a gig when they go.
Yeah.
They still want to feed their kids.
Yeah.
They still want to get that gift.
Yeah.
They will tolerate your spiel and your agenda
Yeah.
because it's still blessing their kids.
Yeah.
There's no dignity in that.
Yeah.
There's no honor in that.
Wow.
They know it's just a trick to get them to come, and it gets verified every single time.
Yeah.
Here are services. Here we got something for the kids.
Right.
It's not about you.
Yeah.
Use the event
Right.
to connect with people.
Yeah.
Right.
Discover their needs.
Yeah.
develop long-term relationships.
Yeah.
That at some point, yeah, you want to invite them, but that not the first time. So that'd be my advice to churches: use these events to gain an awareness of the needs of your community.
Yeah.
And the people in your community, and see how you can use this event to catalyze long-term relationships without them trying to come. So I'm going to tell you right now, as a church consultant, church staff, pastor, hugely disappointed after every big event when folks don't come on Sunday. Because that's supposed to be your big win. Right? Easter egg hunt on Saturday. How come they didn't come on? Because they don't care. They want a free event for their kids. They don't care about you. And guess what? You showed you didn't really care about them either. Why should they come?
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. All these people walking through your door, whatever, get to know them. Sit down. Have volunteers sit at the table and talk to them. Get to know, develop relationships. Right? I would even say, if you're a volunteer team at that event, every volunteer should have in their mind, you don't leave this event without 3 Starbucks or Panera appointments.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, that's a great concept.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm sitting at the table with a family. Hey, how you doing? All right, my goal is to get you either come to my house or us have lunch. That's the next step.
Yeah.
I want to talk with you beyond this.
Yeah.
I want to connect with you beyond this. Now, you set that up like that. Instead of trying to get everybody on Sunday. They ain't coming. They ain't coming. But to your house? Right?
People need to know you care.
Yeah. Come to my guy barbecue. All right. Your kids and my kids can play, play date with the kids, whatever. Right. Yeah, let's have lunch. You work I work down the street. Let's have like that.
Yeah.
Make that's strategic.
Yeah.
Relationship building.
Yeah.
But again, that's mission.
Yeah.
But if you go to church first, everything is come to my church. Come to my church. You see the difference?
Right.
Yes.
That's the difference. And people know, the whole city knows it.
Yeah.
Like, they would love to come to your church. But they know we're just going. I know they're going to invite us on Sunday, but we ain't going on Sunday. We're just going to this thing right here.
Yeah.
But every time we come to the last 5 Easter egg hunts, no one has invited us to dinner.
Right.
Last 5 Thanksgiving dinners, no one has invited us.
Wow.
Hey, here's the food. God bless you. God bless you. I see we made pictures on their Facebook page. No one's invited us. So that's what I'm saying.
I love that. And as we bring this thing to a close, Dr. John, I'm gonna ask you, what's some of your Thanksgiving favorites? Shawty, what you think Dr. John's favorites is? He looked like a sweet potato pie.
Let me take a good look at you.
Dr. John Harris, what's on that Thanksgiving plate? What's some of them Thanksgiving musts?
Man, I'm pretty traditional. I got the yams.
Yeah, come on.
The mac and cheese, the cornbread, and the greens.
I'm about to say, Dr. John, you look like you like some good collard greens.
I do.
Okay.
I do. And as far as meat, man, obviously, turkey and stuff. And depending on how it's made, I can go white meat, dark meat. I can do any of that. I can even do the ham. I mean, I'm pretty. There's just some stuff I don't do though.
Hold on. Tell us what's the don'ts.
What's the Thanksgiving don't?
I almost don't want to make this public because
no.
But I'll tell you, I can't do green bean casserole. I can't with the little crunchy onions on top.
I can't either.
Understood.
I can't
either.
Understood.
I don't.
What is that?
Yeah.
Now I'll eat it when I'm around certain folks, and I got it.
Yeah.
But if they let me fix my own plate, they won't be on there. Won't be on there.
Skipping right over it. I was skipping right over it.
Did you see the graph? I saw it. My plate's too full.
Yeah.
I ain't have no room with all this yams, mac and cheese, and greens. And I ain't have no room. I might.
Yeah. Now desserts. What we going for the desserts?
Oh, sweet potato pie.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
You spot on.
Yeah, sweet potato pie. I could do pumpkin pie. I can do.
Amen.
Yeah.
Most of the cobblers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly enough, I'm not a sweet potato pie kind of person. And I know that's blasphemy among black.
Let's wrap up.
I know that's blasphemy among black people.
As you said that earlier, I might not be here.
You might not even be here, huh?
Except
I got another blasphemy too. Don't cancel me and don't take my black card, but I prefer pumpkin pie over sweet potato.
Do you?
Woo!
That's all good.
I don't even eat either one, but I want to take a swing at you.
You make a pumpkin cheesecake now. Oh!
Well, I can see that.
Pumpkin.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah,
I can see
you
that.
make a pumpkin.
Yeah. I'm not a German chocolate cake fan.
No,
because I'm not a coconut fan. Yeah. Really, I like chocolate cake, but I'm not a coconut fan.
I don't like coconut either, and I'm not really.
I like coconut, but I don't like it with chocolate.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I love carrot cake.
Yes,
the holidays I like carrot cakes. I like the red velvet.
Yeah.
I like the cheesecakes.
Yeah.
It's some things that people make. You got to be cordial and nice, and it's just like, no.
No.
Lord, teach us how to pivot when people want to put certain stuff on our plates.
That's how you do it. Thank you so much for making that.
Yes.
Yeah. I've been praying for some miracles sometimes. If I have the obligated dish.
Yeah.
Like the obligated. It's only because I'm obligated. I'm like, Lord, you turn water into wine.
Yeah.
Can you turn these green beans? Can you turn these green beans before it gets just like it was water when they went to serve it.
Yeah.
It was wine.
Yeah.
Lord, when I scoop it.
Yes.
When I don't have to see it. Once it's in my mouth, just do something.
Yes.
Just do it.
Oh, this green bean casserole turned into dressing.
Just do it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And don't be at work and having a potluck. That's when people want to have potluck during the holidays too. I can't eat from you.
Who made this?
You got 6 cats, and you come to work every day with cat hair all over you. I can't eat what you made.
I seen Shirley bring in her dish uncovered. She took it outside, drove all the way here.
and black folks, we have this thing about who made it.
Who made the potato salad?
We got the who made it. We got the who made it spirit.
We could just leave off. You don't have to put the name of the dish on. Put the name of the person.
Yes.
Right. Put the name of it. This was Tasha.
Yeah.
This was Jennifer.
Yeah.
This was Sue. And we just.
Okay.
Yeah. And we good.
Yeah.
We got to ask a question. Just tell. That's all we want to know.
Who made it?
That's all we want to know.
Who
Reggie made that? I'm going to get some of that.
Oh, now he don't know nothing about making no ribs. I know. That's going to be like chewing straight steel.
That's it.
I want it.
Go outside and bite your tire. That's what it's going to be.
I think with Thanksgiving, with more and more families to be more multicultural and stuff, I think there needs to be some diversity in understanding of some of the things. Like if you're going to some people's houses, then you might normally put raisins in it.
Yes, good God.
Don't put the raisins because you're going to be offended when you're bringing that dish back and it's all still there.
Don't do that.
That will hurt your feelings.
Don't you do that.
But you know what?
Nobody ate my potato salad.
You got to realize. Thank you, because this is a word that's a prophetic word right there.
Come on now.
That was a prophetic word. So people, I want you to know that during this holiday season, because this is gonna be the season of gatherings at work. You're gonna be invited to the church members' house, everything. Remember, you're not cooking just for yourself.
Exactly.
Raisins don't belong in potato salad. And see, you already had a time to repent because you were the same person year-round that was putting sugar in grits. We knew we couldn't trust you in the kitchen.
Listen. Put that camera in my face.
I buy them sugar in the grits spirit people.
Put that camera in my face.
Because sugar don't belong in grits. Butter and cheese do. Shrimps, yes. See, we knew we couldn't. We knew we could.
We put some salt.
And some salt is a must.
There is nothing wrong with consultation before you cook a dish for your family.
Yes.
Okay, consult them.
Yeah. So as we
Do
close,
y'all like raisins?
We giving you survival tips. Don't make nothing new during the holidays. If it ain't been tested, don't make it.
If it ain't broke, don't try and fix it.
Yes.
And my tip, my last Thanksgiving tip for the food. If we didn't eat it last year, don't bring it back this year.
My God.
We done told you. Don't act like your feelings are hurt.
My God.
Don't act like we just missed it last year. Don't act like we didn't see it last year. If you brought it back home, full dish, don't you bring it back this year.
My God.
That's all I'm going to say.
Your palate ain't changed.
Did you hear? Now, this right here, this is a man that is well studied and traveled.
Yes.
What Dr. John Harrison, let me tell you, because somebody may need to hear this in the spirit. What he telling you is that there is no resurrection power with that dish.
None.
Don't try to resurrect it. Because that same dish last year that went uneaten, this year will go uneaten.
Now listen,
That's it.
for a small fee of 4 easy payments of $29.95, I got a master class that can teach you how to bring a dish and how to win on Thanksgiving. Okay.
Okay, my final last tip.
Please give it to us.
Don't be ashamed to just bring the ice.
Oh my God.
Hello.
That's a good tip.
That's it.
That's a good tip.
Because it's needed.
No shame.
That's a good
Ain't no
tip.
shame.
That's a
Buy
good
it, gas station, drop it on the ground, shake it up, break it up. Don't be ashamed to bring the ice.
Yes.
Everyone gonna need some ice.
Come on.
Bring the cups, Sharpie, marker on it, put
Play to your
names.
strengths.
Don't be ashamed.
Yes.
All of us know what we are gifted in.
Yes.
Don't have us up here having a situation where we need them deliverance
My God.
at the Thanksgiving dinner.
Tell him, Dr. John.
I'm
Tell
an
him.
ice person. You know what I'm saying? I'm an ice person. I will buy the ice because I know what I can do
Yes.
and can't do.
My God.
I want everyone to have a happy Thanksgiving. Bring that ice.
And with that, we gonna bring this to a close. Dr. John Harris, thank you for helping us
Thank you so
to
much,
survive the
Dr.
holiday.
John.
Anytime. My pleasure.
We gonna make you the third.
Come on.
The third host on this show. We appreciate you. Thank you for being with us. And I want to say thank you to my co-host.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, you guys. I want everybody to have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your holidays. Now, we gave you some tips on the As We Walk podcast to survive the Thanksgiving dish.
Leave the raisins alone.
To survive during the holidays. So if you don't make it through the holiday season, I want you to know it was your fault. All right? No, I'm playing. We love you. Enjoy it. This has been As We Walk podcast.
Peace.